Hey look, it's a tool with a tool. Here's a look at McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Green Lantern Core Guy Gardner. While he debuted in the late 1960s, Guy Gardner did not rise to real stardom until his placement in the Justice League International during the mid-1980s. Famous for losing a fight to Batman, it only lasted one punch. Gardner became a longtime member of the team and the love interest of fellow hero Ice. After falling out with the Green Lantern Corps, Guy claimed a yellow power ring to continue fighting crime. He discovered his Valdarian heritage and became a living weapon in the form of warrior, using powers he would lose during Hal Jordan's return when both reclaimed their Green Lantern status. Many can say they rocked the bowl cut, yet it's one of the hairstyles that come include with Guy Gardner. Before, though, we look at the way he can change his hair and all the other things that come include with a figure, let's take, though, the tape measure and see how tall he actually stands. Now, I did actually order this from Amazon, and the weird thing about ordering it from Amazon is that, again, it seems to be a strange thing lately. Even when I ordered Guy Gardner, who was in stock at the time, it took about 2.5 weeks for this guy to finally show up. I don't really know what's going on over there. Anyways, though, what I can tell you what's going on over here, the tape measure is going to tell us that Guy Gardner stands at 6 3/4 inches in height. That, though, works out to be a figure that's 17 centimeters tall. Now, my core may not be as big as the next guy, but it doesn't matter how big the core is, it's how you use it. Here's what the figure looks like with the Silver Age release of Hal Jordan, clearly still one of my favorite Green Lanterns, not only as a member, but as the figure for him. Here's also what he looks like with Green Lantern Corps member Simon Baz, and here's also, if you like the mosaic look, also here's what he looks like with John Stewart. For his intergalactic offerings, Guy Gardner first includes a trading card. First, I do like that they use this image, and it doesn't make him look as big of a jerk-off as he actually is. Second, I actually like that they've also used the McFarlane Collector's Edition printed font on the side. It illuminates nicely when you've got the studio light shining against it. Third and final, on the back of the card, his real name is listed as Guy Gardner. No, that is his real name. He didn't change his name because he became a Hollywood celebrity. There's also quite a substantial, chunky read. If you think the read is too chunky, too much to read, I've already taken the time to read it for you. When it comes to also these cards, I like to put them in my trading card sheets. Yeah, I know. I already tend to say that already. But do you also know, when it comes to my Green Lantern Corps, I'd like to keep all my cards together. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I hope you also care the fact the figure comes included with a display stand. No, nobody cares about that either. Either way, though, because it's also a McFarlane Collector's Edition, branded down below instead of the traditional black, we get treated to an all frills silver instead. There's the peg up to the far corner that can plug into either one of his boots. So again, you may want to make use of that. Or if you're like myself, you may have yourself like a stack of 50 of them over here, although they don't stand very well. Try to balance a whole bunch of these together. They're only going to fall over every time. I actually got myself like a little, I say this like everybody really cares, I got my little container here where I kind of keep all my display stands just on the ready in case I need them. The figure does also come include some swappable hands, swappable faceplates, swappable hair pieces, and a lantern. Starting with the end, let's first look at the lantern the figure comes included with. The lantern is a little, I don't want to say gummy, but it feels like it's definitely more of a harder, kind of rubbery plastic that they've used. You can kind of tell by the way I'm moving around the handle. It's painted well. I do like that it's translucent as well. It's a awfully small lantern for Guy Gardner. Insert the jokes there. The figure does also come included with a couple of gripping hands. So if, already on the ends of his forearms, he's got closed fists. That's not going to be helping anybody. However, though, the figure does also come included with lantern holding hands. You can have that lantern either held on this side, the same hand that actually has the ring, or if you want to go without the ring, the figure does also have a hand holding or lantern holding hand that goes on the opposite side. So you basically have a hand available on both sides. He does also come included with a dynamic gestured hand, or a high five hand, or can I have some money hand? I kind of feel like it's more the latter with Guy Gardner. Can I have some money? Do you have any change to spare? I don't even know if they have pockets to actually keep their extra coins. And then, of course, the figure does also come included with a pointing hand. Am I saying this all too fast? Maybe I am. A pointing hand that does also have the Green Lantern symbol ring there as well. It's nicely molded. I mean, it's not just a case that they blopped on there a bit of green paint and called it a day. It's a nice looking sculpted ring. To change out the hands, by the way, let's go ahead and pick the figure up. And what do we want to use? Let's just say, let's give him like this hand, for example. We're just going to hold the hand, or hold the form, I should say, and pop the hand off. Swap it then out with this hand. So again, you can do the high five. You can do the waving if you want. Or again, you can have him just begging, groveling from the rest of the Green Lantern Corps. Then to go ahead and change this hand, we'll just pop that off. We'll replace it maybe with a pointing hand. It's a weird combination, really, of hands. It's almost like, hey you, do you have any change? I have to catch the intergalactic bus. Well, wait a minute. Can't you just construct a bus? Hey man, that's too much work for me. So there you go, a bunch of swappable hands for for Guy Gardner. Let's put the figure down here for a second. He does also come included with a couple of swappable face plates. This is a trend that McFarlane has been doing as of late, and it's a trend that I hope they continue with. Instead of wasting their time, wasting the budget of producing brand new sculpts for heads for all three cases, swapping out faceplates seems to be the easiest thing to do. Now with that, though, goes also the bit negative that if you have faceplates, they're so much easier to lose. It's a little harder to miss a head that's rolling around on the floor, even if you have a messier floor like I do. But faceplates are a much easier thing to lose, especially if a cat wants to grab one and take off with it. Now you do have, if you look at the figure out of the packaging, he has a defaulted, very stern-looking face. If you want to change that instead for a smirking face, he does have that available as well. Or if you want to go all out, the figure does also come included with this head. I don't know if he's screaming, if he's laughing, I don't know really what he's doing. I would imagine no matter what he's doing it rather loud. Swapping out the faceplates is just a case of actually popping the face off. And then we just take the face that we want to use. The thing about this also as well is that they've sculpted in their tongue. It's so weird. I've kind of pointed this out before. It looks like some weird Cyclops alien with kissy face lips. Anyways, basically, that will end up being the tongue for Guy Gardner's mouth. Just plug the face that you want to use in place, and you got that head sculpt instead. He does also have an alternate hair piece, which ideally I would rather go with the bowl cut myself. I just kind of think of Guy Gardner kind of having more of the bowl cut, especially with the upcoming Superman movie coming out where Nathan Fillion is going to be playing Guy Gardner. I don't know if I really would have done Fillion myself, really, as Guy Gardner. I really would have personally chosen him as Hal Jordan. But anyways, he's going to be, of course, Guy Gardner in the DC Universe films. Nice looking head sculpt overall. The only one thing I will say is by not texturing the brush cut section of his hair, it does actually just kind of look like it's painted. I know it's obviously painted, but so much time and effort went into sculpting the top of his hair, even if they had just put like little dots, just something along the bottom, so it actually looks like that was the part that got buzzed. Overall, though, it's a nice looking head sculpt. Now, again, you can either go with this route, or the figure does also come included with a Moe-inspired bowl cut, which for me is really the way to have Guy Gardner displayed, at least on my shelf. To change the hair out, it's super easy. I mean, you may want to kind of hold on to the face. Not that the face is going to be falling off, but just hold on to it and unpeg the top of the hair, just like that. Now, it's soft plastic, too. And we're just going to remove that. On the top of his head is a very obvious peg. Then take the bowl cut that you want to use and just plug it in place. Now, there's no real directions as to where the hair is supposed to go. I mean, technically, because it's on a peg, you can just rotate it till you get the look that you want. You can either have it this way, you can have it also this way as well, and basically just turn it until you get the look that you want. That's the look that I want. Definitely a better look for me, at least. I mean, again, you could just have had the more modern-looking hairstyle, but when I tend to think of Guy Gardner, I tend to think this stupid-looking haircut. Not that I'm making fun of anyone that has a bowl cut. I was a victim of that as well in kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2. First couple of grades of public school, my mother would always cut my hair. I don't think literally she took herself a salad bowl and put it on top of my head and just trimmed around the excess. But yeah, I was a victim of the bowl cut myself. Nice looking head sculpt overall. Again, whether you go with this head or the other two of the three swappable faceplate options. For the rest of Guy Gardner's outfit, I mean, one thing that's kind of unique about Guy Gardner is the outfit that he has. Like if you were to compare, for example, with Hal Jordan has, for the most part, the traditional looking Green Lantern suit. Black sleeves, black legs, and of course just the middle section done in green. Guy Gardner chooses instead to have himself a Green Lantern jacket. Guess one thing, it keeps him a little bit more warmer. This is actually a lot harder of a plastic than I was expecting. I thought really if I was to squeeze his torso, it would be a lot softer plastic. It feels certainly soft right here, but the rest of his torso feels hard, rigid plastic. It does have the belt down there as well. Fairly well painted too. I mean, white is a hard thing to sometimes pull off. Either that does look a little pasty looking, or sometimes if they don't paint nearly enough of it, you can sometimes see the color underneath. But I think for the most part, they've painted the belt really well. The symbol on the front, the insignia for the Green Lantern Corps, looks good as well, outlined in black. Not only the circle, but also the emblem inside. And of course, he does also have the white gloves. Now, they've likely painted the hands. I feel like they probably would have used a lighter white plastic and then probably had gone in there and painted it over top, because it looks like it's a very chalk white. I don't know if they could have pulled that off by just molding it in the white plastic alone. Green boots down below. The green, unfortunately, though, is shinier, so it doesn't quite match the coloring of his shirt. I do wish, though, that they could have maybe gone with more of a matte green, just because it would have colored and kept the colors a little bit more consistent with his jacket. But all in all, it's a good-looking colored green Guy Gardner. Now, for the figure's articulation, going back once to his head. Head's going to rotate back and forth. You shouldn't really worry too much that the face is going to fall off. Once it's really securely on there, and especially if the hairpiece goes over top of it, kind of does well to keep everything together. Sometimes, though, when you are moving it back and forth, especially if you lift the head up, you might find yourself, starting to peel the face away. Where's John Travolta when we need him? The figure's upper torso is going to be on a ball joint, and it kind of really, when you are moving everything, you're moving everything together. There's no real section to it that it feels like it's a separate piece. I might be able to say, like, you'd be able to bend right here, but who am I kidding? When you're moving the top of the torso, it moves as all one piece. The arms rotate all the way around, no issues there. You can hinge them out at 90 degrees or that T-pose. The figure does have a swivel in his bicep, double hinge on his elbow. Obviously, with its pointing hand, you can rotate that all the way around, and you can hinge that back and forth. Legs split out on ratcheted joints. Of course, you can take the legs and move forward, move them back. Yeah. Swivel at the top of the thigh, but only just a little bit, more just for the assembly than anything else. Some have asked, usually when it comes to these articulation points, why do you say that they swivel on the top, when really more they're there just by the way that they've been assembled. I say that there's just a little bit of a give, just a little bit. I don't want to completely sign off on the idea that the legs rotate all the way around, because then I would be lying to all of you. But it moves only just a little bit. It's one of those cases where if you blinked, you would have missed it completely. The figure does have a double hinge on his knee. The one thing about unfortunately, the knees, and really like the elbows aren't as bad, but the knees seem like they've clearly used more of a matte plastic for the knees, so they're not as shiny necessarily as the thighs or the calves below. Speaking of the calves below, there's no articulation down below here. You can't rotate the boots. The boots seem to be all one continued sculpt. He has an ankle pivot, an ankle rocker, and Guy Gardner does also have toe articulation as well. Not one of my favorite of the Lantern Corps members, honestly. I always thought that Guy Gardner was a real jerk. I had actually a lot of Justice League comics growing up, and I always kind of really wondered, why is this Green Lantern always on the front of the cover, when for me, the go-to was always Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan still continues to be my favorite of the Green Lanterns. But Guy Gardner does have a place in the Corps. I mean, again, he's a jerk. He's a bit cocky. But he's certainly a well-received figure, at least on my part. I feel like they've done a nice job sculpting him. If anything, I could maybe say that he seems like he's a little too tall, especially when you're comparing him maybe with Hal Jordan, or even really when you're comparing him with Simon Baz. Guy Gardner not only is fuller in the frame, but he seems like he's maybe a little too tall. Other than that, though, I do actually like the figure does have swappable faceplates. I think that's always a plus when it comes to these. I mean, it's something that they've only really started to do within the last year or two. But it certainly is a trend as we get near the end of this line. Something I really like that they do. I mean, also with that, too, there's always the risk that you can be losing these faceplates. So whatever I don't end up using and displaying with the figure, I tend to always put back in like a little bag. Sometimes I even write the name of the character and kind of just keep it all in like a little plastic tote. So if I ever need to go back and change the expression, in this case of Guy Gardner, I know exactly where all the extra accessories are going to be. They're not going to be on the floor. They're not going to be taken away by Kitty. They're going to be all in a bag, stored away for whenever I need them next. As tempting as it may be, do not pull Guy Gardner's figure whatever you do. Being that this guy can't construct really anything out of his power ring, you don't know the kind of circumstances you're going to be putting yourself in if you pull his finger. Pulling, though, the trigger, I finally ended up ordering this guy from Amazon. I mean, he has been available for a bit. I mean, it's not like this is a relatively new figure. But Amazon did have a pretty good price for him. I think he was at one point selling for around $34. Not bad. No, what wasn't, though, good was the fact I had to wait as long as I did. I ordered it 1 week, thinking at least it was going to come in the next couple of days, and for reasons unknown. I mean, it wasn't that it was being sold through a third party on Amazon. It was being sold by Amazon themselves. And yet, though, I waited about 2.5 weeks for this guy to finally show up. Having the circumstances already where Amazon had canceled pre-orders that I had put in, I was assuming what they were probably going to be doing as well is that they kept putting off when this guy was going to be shipping, and then I was going to be getting that notification. You probably have seen it yourselves, but the notification said, sorry, we've canceled your order. What? Luckily, though, this guy did finally show up. I've got this guy right now displayed with the bowl cut. That's probably going to be the look I'm going to go with moving forward. One thing at least, though, is if you don't like the bowl cut, or you don't like Guy Gardner, I would imagine you're probably going to be picking up the figure if you like Guy Gardner. But one thing at least is you can change his hairstyle, you can change his faceplates, you can change his hands, you can pretty much change everything on him. You just can't change the fact that Guy Gardner is still a bit of a jerk. Yeah. What do you guys think of Guy Gardner? Let me know down below in the comment section. Have you guys had the chance to grab this one? Let me know also down below what your favorite Green Lantern Corps member is. If you guys also enjoyed this video, do it a solid and throw it a like. You guys want to stick around for more so? I hope so. Hit that subscribe, turn on that bell, and of course come back. We're wrapping up things right now for at least Green Lantern member Gardner, but there will be more Multiverse reviews coming your way. So as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.